why don't you tell me in our community how you got involved in the markets and what the journey was like for you at the beginning and how you gravitated towards the Japanese style charting, which are the Ichimoku clouds.
Okay. I had been sort of trading, I would say, recreationally since the 80s. I did some trading in the dot-com days, and mostly based on my ability to be a trend spotter. I was working as an Apple consultant back in the early days of the early 90s, and I was able to, or I decided to buy some Apple stock at $10.50 a share.
Good decision.
At the time, no one was really interested in Apple stock, and most of my friends and relatives thought Apple was going out of business, and they didn't make enough business software or something like this. But I had faith, and I thought that it was going somewhere. So anyway, I went to art school. I went to the Rhode Island School of Design, got an art degree. Sort of forgot about the markets for a while, and in the meantime, my Apple stock slowly and surely progressed. So at some point in 2007-ish, I had enough money in my stock account to have a day trading account, and I happened to be speaking with my my broker, and he said, you have enough money to be a day trader, to have day trade buying power. And I said, what is a day trader? I had no idea that, I had never considered buying and selling a stock on the same day. That it seems strange to me.
Well,
so
you know what his agenda. You may not have known at the time, but you know what his agenda was, right?
Yeah, he was like, haha, commissions.
Yeah, there you go.
But so that happened. So I suddenly had a day trade account, and also in 2008 there was a death in my family, and I had this family trust situation that I had to deal with. It was a messy estate settlement involving a lot of different people, and I was in charge of it. And
stressful, huh?
This was 2008. So from the time that this relative passed away until partway through trying to settle this trust situation, her accounts had been halved. And it was all, I couldn't manage them because they were all locked up because of the legal situation. But so finally, once the legal stuff was straightened out, I had to do some serious decision making as to what to do next. I couldn't just leave the investments intact as they were because there were legal fees to pay and whatnot. So, and various distributions to be made. So I was in a situation where I had to figure out very quickly how to save this estate, basically. And
wow.
I was dealing with some
really under the gun. I mean, you're watching markets melt. You're dealing with relatives that want their share. What a tremendous amount of stress you were under during that time. How did you cope with it, and what gave you the inner strength to do this?
Gee, that is that is a continuing good question, because to make a long story short, I've been I went full time as a trader in that time period after that happened, and so I've been trading full time, and when I say full time, we're talking about real full time. I mean, I was working. I've toned it down a little bit, but I was working 90, 100 hours a week for a while,
wow.
And I haven't really taken very much time off in the last 6 years. But
so when you go on vacation, they're really not vacations, are they? Because you're Go ahead.
I haven't really gone on a vacation. I
Felt
went.
like
I mean, I can't wait. So, I would like to go on a vacation. That sounds really good. I took a week off at some point, maybe 2.5 years ago. I think I took a
yeah,
week
you
off.
can't even remember.
It's true.
I know what
But
that's like.
managing stress is key, and I can tell you from personal experience that I've also been over the last few years dealing with my mom being quite ill, and making a decent recovery. She's doing all right now, but she was real touch and go for quite a while there.
Yeah.
So that was really stressful also. So I do yoga.
Okay.
Yoga has been a huge stress reliever, and also the one thing about trading that I didn't really think about as much as I didn't really think about that would have such a huge impact is the desk time is brutal. Having to sit at a desk it's you really need to do something to counteract that, or it becomes real obvious that it's not good for you.
Yeah, I just saw a tweet by someone today, Melissa, that said sitting at a desk is killing your kidneys. I have no idea why it would affect your kidneys that way, but yeah, sitting at a desk. There are people that, because of that and back issues, etc., work standing up. They get those desks where they're standing up and they work standing up. I sit at a desk, and yoga. I showed a video of a guy who was a paratrooper. His name's Arthur. I don't know if you ever saw it on my stream, but he became real overweight, and the doctors said he would never walk again, and some yoga instructor took him on, and he lost all this weight, and by the end of the video, you're seeing him run like a linebacker. And
Uh-huh.
so that was a great testament to yoga.
I think I have seen that video. I don't know if I saw it
Yeah,
on your stream, but I think I have
yeah,
seen that one for sure.
never quit. Don't believe the doctors, and he never gave up. And he's not only walking but running like an NFL player now. So,
Yeah.
so that's your stress reduction. Are you still attached to the screen, and is it your trading style? Perhaps you're like me. I have a hard time detaching from trades when I'm in them and turning off my platform. And the only way I've learned to overcome that is to perhaps put on trades from a shorter time frame, but manage them from a longer time frame, so I don't have to watch every wiggle and zig and zag.
That's interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because part of my part of the Ichimoku strategy that I use, I really I discourage. I mean, I can't tell exactly what you mean by that, but I really discourage. Well, that's actually a better way to do it. I really discourage managing trades on different time frames from where you initiate the trade.
Okay, that's valid.
But what you're telling me is that you take an entry based on a shorter time frame and then manage it on a longer time frame. As long as the longer time frame analysis is in alignment with your bias, that is cool.
Okay, that's a pearl. That's a pearl.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is a really bad idea to do is to enter a shorter time frame trade, and then if it goes against you, expand your time frame. Like it's gone beyond my 15-minute parameters. I'll wait. I'll see what the hourly says, and I'll keep the trade on for a few hours, and then I'll see what the 4-hour chart says, and I'll keep the trade, and I'll just hold it overnight and hope that it comes back. I mean,
Yeah, well, the
start
key
looking at
is
the
no matter what
weeklies.
the time frame is that you define the risk on the trade, no matter what time frame you're managing it on, right? So
Well, yeah,
the
I
risk
mean,
is predetermined on whatever time frame that you put the position on. Your stop is still there, whether you manage it from a different time frame or not. So my problem was, and maybe you could help me with what still is a weakness in my trading, is because if I stay on the same time frame, I have a hard time riding my trades to objectives and targets because I'll see an interim move developing and I'll go, well, I'll just book it here and I'll buy the next pullback, or I'll just take my shorts here and sell the next rally. And then I turn my head and I get sidetracked and the market goes to target without me.
Well, I think you just answered your own question there. I mean, that is a temptation to do if you're sitting there watching price action,
Right.
to manage the trade. I mean, everybody does that.
Yeah.
If you have, I mean, a lot of people have a work ethic that they feel like they need to, be sitting in front of the screens from 9 to 5 or whatever their time frame is, and if they're not doing that, they're not working, and therefore, they'll mess up their longer term time frame trades. I will say that I feel that the recent market conditions, say over the last since I don't know, maybe May. The market conditions have really dictated or have changed my trading habits significantly. It's been so choppy all summer long.
So yeah, I've noticed when it's like this, Melissa, that guys that, I facilitate a community, guys that normally use hourly charts all of a sudden are showing me screenshots on 15-minute charts. That as the market became choppy, people began to draw down their time frames, looking for scalping opportunities rather than swing trades.
Yeah, and one of the strengths of my trading has always been that I've been good at staying in trades. A lot of times, other people will, bail on a trade, and I'll just be able to stay in the trade because I know I have confidence in my longer term analysis. So say I take a trade in crude on the 4-hour time frame. As long as my 4-hour analysis is not invalidated in some way, I don't I don't necessarily need to get out, and I'm able to stay patient. But with the conditions being so choppy, all summer long, I've really had to dial down my own time frame. I mean, I find myself sometimes. I mean, I don't normally like to trade off the 5-minute chart, but I find myself looking at 5-minute charts lately, and even thinking about looking at 3-minute charts. But one thing specific to Ichimoku is, or maybe other analysis too, but Ichimoku works better on longer time frames. So the longer time frame analysis on Ichimoku is, I like to think of it as stronger. So if you have a weekly setup, that's going to be a lot more solid than a 5-minute or 15-minute setup. Mostly because those, the shorter the time frames, the more changeable they are. So.
So here we go. We have a lot of central bank action this week. I don't know what your philosophy is on holding positions into red events like the Fed or the Draghi or employment reports, but perhaps you could now tell us a little bit about how you use the clouds by showing some charts and some of your views and what your thinking is going into the Fed. You know how to do that? You uncomfortable with that?
With screen sharing my charts?
Yeah, showing your charts. Go to the screen share upper left-hand corner.
Right.
And then
you just see my static page right now that has
that's what I'm looking at, your static page, right?
The one thing I'm concerned about is I don't really want to share my account number, and that's at the top of my chart, so I'm not really sure how.
Okay, so then Well, I guess we'll stay with psychology then, or
I mean, I
perhaps
could.
perhaps you could at least talk about with your static shot, talk a little bit about being a cloud chartist and
I
what
could
kind of
just
things.
I could take a I'll take a screenshot. Why don't I do that? I'll
Okay,
just take a quick screenshot because I actually have a crude trade on right now, so I can go over that real quickly.
that'd be great.
Um, and um, bear with me for one moment, and I'll try not
Okay.
to. This is
So
my first Google screen share.
yeah, you're doing that was a great idea, very adaptable. I could tell you're a trader. So you adapted to keeping your anonymity, and we'll still be able to look at a chart here on crude.
It's just a technological thing. Like I know how to capture screens without having my account number showing, but I don't know how to do it with Google. So, all right,
Okay.
let's see.
And you have a service where you teach your
I do.
method to people.
I have a chat room,
Okay.
and so I'm live in there.
U.S.
You're
hours.
I'm in there from like 8 a.m. until 4 in the afternoon, thereabouts, U.S. hours. Yeah, let's
And
see if
that's
I can.
Eastern time. EST.
Yes.
Okay. That's a long day. Okay, here we
Um,
go. I see your crude chart now. It's a 15-minute crude chart.
okay, super. So this is, I just snapped this, so it's not moving. But
Right.
basically, in this particular setup, this chart is bearish in Ichimoku terms because price action is under the cloud. In
Okay.
Ichimoku, the first thing that you look at is whether a price is over or under the cloud. So it's under the cloud, so it's bearish. But I did see the opportunity as we were, and I don't know how to make a cursor. I don't know if Google will let me make a cursor move around on my screen
Well, you could point towards it
or
though.
not. I'll just.
I think I saw your cursor go to the low that you had there at.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, it went there.
Can you see my cursor moving right now?
No.
Okay.
So are you long here?
I am long, yeah. So is my cursor? Can you see my
Yeah,
cursor
now I
now?
see it.
Super.
Yes,
All
it
right.
moved.
So yeah. I mean, I thought that we saw the RSI down here. RSI is one of the only other indicators that I use besides Ichimoku. So we saw the RSI go oversold here on the 15-minute chart, and I
Right.
thought it was a good time for a bounce. So myself and my chat room pals got long at 44 or thereabouts, and I think the low was like
And purely based upon an
43.90 something.
oversold reading on the RSI, was that the reason?
Yeah, an oversold reading on the RSI. Plus, we were quite extended below the Ichimoku cloud, and also the two. You see the two lines, the blue and the pink lines above here. The blue line is called
Yeah.
the Tenkan Sen. When the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen go flat above price, they often indicate that price will move up towards them.
Okay.
So I thought it was a good risk reward to go for a bounce. And actually, right before I came on live with you, I put a bracket around the trade. So I currently have a stop, which is slightly. I'm going to manage this trade while I'm talking to you because I see that it's actually working quite well, and I want to move my stop up. But I put my stop on just a few ticks to lock in a few ticks of profit.
Okay. So you went from a
Contrary.
risk trade to a break-even trade now. No risk.
I like to, at this point in the way the market's been moving, and the way that there's so many algos in the market these days, like trying to get your stops. I like to get risk-free as soon as possible, so I like to get a profit stop on the trade ASAP because if my stop gets taken out, I'd rather have I'd rather be taken out for a few ticks profit, cover the commissions, and then rethink the trade rather than take a loss and then deal with the emotional setback of taking a loss and then rethinking the trade. So the way I manage short-term trades is I try to get a profit stop in. I try to have my limit order where I think that where price is going to go. And at this point, the chart has changed. Let me take another quick screenshot because I think it's key to see how the chart has changed, and it will be helpful. To teach people about Ichimoku, what's going on here, because my trade, basically, my trade might be invalidated in a second, or it might be over right now. So,
thank you for a live example.
Bear with my, taking a sec for the technology to catch up.
You have a very calm demeanor.
Uh-huh.
Is that something that was inherent in your personality? Because, just like real estate is location, 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 trading psychology, 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 and yeah, it looks like you have a nice little pop in the crude happening here. Did you have to overcome some psychological hurdles in learning how to trade?
Well, I think everybody does. Can you see my updated chart here?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. I think when I first started day trading, I was trading stocks, and then I moved into trading options. And I was fortunate to start trading like in 2009. Like anybody could make money in 2009. Like you could just throw money at anything and make money. So that was a really great time to start day trading, but also a bad time to start day trading because it was so easy that it was easy to think that you knew everything, Yeah. And a lot of people found out the hard way that.
So you could have been long anything at the bottom of the financial crisis in the spring of '09.
Exactly.
And the tide lifted all boats.
Exactly. So back to this crude trade. I'm gonna so my stop was previously at 44.02. I'm gonna move my stop up to I don't want to get it too close to price action because I'm not even going to be, my trading computer is a different computer from the one I'm talking to you on, so it's hard enough for me to manage two mouses. I'd rather.
So we got to one of the cloud, the blue line. What is it? The Taiken or Taken or?
It's the Tenkan. It's called the Tenkan-sen.
Okay, and the purple one is. So were your objectives on its bounce to this and possibly up to the purple line?
Yes. Previously, my objective was to this flat line right here, which was 44.39.
Yeah.
This is actually a short setup that's happening right now on crude.
Right.
Because what's going on now is the Tenkan-sen, the blue line, is pointing downwards. And this is a classic short setup that I use all the time, and I'm just going to stay long and let myself get profit stopped out if that's what's going to happen. But and I'll show you, I'll be able to tell you if the short setup is valid or not valid. So
well, I agree. Can I share why I agree? Because I do a lot of RSI work. Okay, so we'll make this kind of a give and take. The RSI that you bought on, to me, was a confirmed low. There was no divergence there, and I've learned that markets rarely bottom when they're confirming momentum is confirming price, and markets rarely top when momentum is confirming new highs. So, to me, this was good for a counter trend bounce, but there's no bottoming signal based upon what I've renamed the RSI to real simple implicator. And confirmed highs and lows imply that there's another one coming.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. So I just got stopped out at 44.22. So I made 22.
Congratulate Melissa on her live crude trade. Nice.
I hope my guys in my chat room managed it as well. But so what happened is the Tenkan. I call this short setup the Tenkan Smackdown, and the reason for that is when we have an oversold bounce that encounters the Tenkan-sen, it either stops dead in its tracks and continues its downtrend, or it blasts through the Tenkan-sen and heads up towards the flat pink or purple line, whatever color it looks like on your screen, this line up here.
Right.
Okay. And so it doesn't look like the strength of the bounce is going to allow that to happen, and indeed it's getting stopped in its tracks at 44.27, which is where the Tenkan-sen is located. So, I mean, it could still, the candle's not closed yet, so it's possible that it could still blast towards the flat line above.
That's something else that took me years to get, because a lot of people try and get the edge, but you never know what kind of candle you have till it closes, right, Melissa?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you can anticipate a candle closed, but you never know until it's done.
Exactly, and there's so much, there's a lot of overshooting in these markets, so we have a lot of wicks, and I don't really like wicks. Like, I don't really think oftentimes that wicks really represent true price action. And like, for instance, when I do use Fibonacci levels, I use fib retracements frequently in my trading, in my analysis, and I oftentimes do not use the wicks because I just feel like the wicks are oftentimes, and it could be particular to the things that I trade, like crude, for instance, but I think the wicks are oftentimes just algos running stops.
They
not
replace
everybody
floor
agrees with
traders.
me. I mean, a lot of FX traders, and when I'm trading, when I'm doing forex analysis, oftentimes I do use the wicks because everybody uses the wicks in FX, it seems like. So.
Well, you want to go wickless, you use Renko. That's why a lot of people use Renko charts.
Right.
And I've never learned how, but they're wickless type charts, so it's all about the body. So do you, besides using Ichimoku, you concentrate on what type of candlestick formation you're getting at the same time? Or is it more about the cloud than the stick?
Candlestick analysis is integral to Ichimoku trading. It's really important aspect of it, and I read Steve Nison's Candlestick Analysis book is one of my trading bibles for sure.
Yeah, it must have been published over 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I think I paid $100 for it or something, and it was worth every penny of it.
Yeah, he was one of the first to bring it to the West and popularize it.
Yeah, so I mean, and I've been doing candlestick analysis for so long that I'm sure that it's intuitive at this point, and that's the same thing with Ichimoku and I tell my students this when I'm teaching them, is Ichimoku might look a little bit weird and it might look a little daunting to learn at first, and I think people are oftentimes put off by just the names of the elements, but because it's like a different language and people find that strange or something, but there's really only 5 different things that 5 different lines that are in Ichimoku, and really only there's the cloud, obviously, we see the cloud, and there's the pink line is the Kijun-sen, the blue line is the Tenkan-sen, and this red line over here to the left is called the Chikou span. And so really, once you know the names of those lines and you know what they do and how price interacts with them, that's it. Like, it's just a matter of
So it's more challenging and complicated by perception than it really is. Can you explain that red line a little bit, because it's not near anything else? I mean, it's on the left-hand side of the chart.
Yeah, and this is I love this line. This red line, it's called the Chikou span. It represents current price action, time shifted 26 periods into the past. So in this instance on the 15-minute chart, it's 26 15-minute candles in the past, but it's doing exactly the same thing that current price action is, you can see.
Yeah.
But so if when it interacts with the other parts of, you know, say the Chikou was up here finding resistance at the cloud, it would be finding resistance for current price action, even if current price action had nothing near it. So it's kind of like a little invisible helper. Like you might not see the resistance over here in the current price action that the Chikou is encountering. So
I see. So
this is
it
not,
can kind of give you a little bit of a foreshadowing to what might happen in the current market.
Yeah, and I see actually a good example of it happening live right now. So is it okay if I grab one more shot to share?
And then I want to give you some time to do a commercial and show your website and how people can get in touch with you and possibly get involved with you on a business level.
All right.
In trading, I mean.
I got it. All right. Bear with me while I take a screen. I'm not very self-promotional by nature. I am very calm by nature, and that's something that people have told me my whole life. So that's not something that I needed to.
Yeah. It's a great
create
for an emotional industry. I mean, there's nothing more emotional than money to most people.
You know, I've been told that I should be like an EMT or something. You know, like I'm good in emergencies.
Hypnotherapist.
You know, I've been thinking about that lately. I've been thinking about. I've been wondering if it's possible to hypnotize people out of their bad trading habits. I've been pondering that lately.
Sure, you plant a new paradigm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know enough about hypnotherapy or anything like that, but it sounds sort of interesting to me. All right, I'm putting up the ES. Do you see the ES chart?
Yeah, it's rallying with the yen right now. Okay, so we're in the chart.
The yen is rallying.
In the middle of a cloud. Okay.
Right. You know, if I don't have the yen up on my screen right now, but the correlations have just been bizarre lately. Like you know, the ES and like Treasury bonds and the dollar all rallying at the same time. That is just strange. But so the example that I want to make about the Chikou is, you see the red line here. The Chikou is right under the cloud. When the Chikou came up and touched the cloud, the ES started putting in this topping tail here. So even though the ES
kind of like it's your leading indicator for Ichimoku. Okay.
I mean, technically it's not. The leading indicator about Ichimoku actually is the cloud in front of price action. The cloud is drawn out for 26 periods into the future. So there's not many forms of technical analysis where you can see 26 periods into the future.
That is valuable.
Yeah, especially on a weekly time frame. It's, you know, it's super valuable because you can see things. I mean, when I do my weekly analysis videos, which are free, by the way, to everyone, I just give those away. I give most of my stuff away for free, but you know, you can see stuff into next year. You can see the configuration of the clouds. So regarding my advertising, I have a special going on right now that I decided to offer just for listeners here and for other folks that want to get involved with my my chat room. I'm offering my chat room for $99 a month currently. It's normally $149 a month. So if people want to sign up from now until the end of October, they can do so. And let me go back to
website.
I think that there's not really much point in showing my website. I'll just go back to my original screen share with my website address so people can
that'll be good.
see that. My website is just cloudchartist.com. I mean, pretty easy to remember if you can remember my ticker handle, my Twitter handle. But the offer's up there, and there's information about what I offer. But I really offer personalized attention, so I can help people out on any level that they're at with trading or with learning Ichimoku. And in my chat room, I also have some really experienced traders in there, so we get some really good idea sharing in the room as well. And just everybody in there is funny, nice, calm, cool.
Isn't it great to have a community? Isn't it great to have a community?
I
mean, I'm a big believer in social trading, and the law of attraction attracts people that want to help others and pay it forward. And yeah, it's an edge because we only have two eyes, right, Melissa?
Well, the reason that I even started the chat room was because Twitter was not really working for me anymore. It became and I started. I really learned a lot from joining StockTwits in 2009. That was really amazing for me, and I got to give a hat tip to the person that I initially learned Ichimoku from, who is at Ichimoku Charts. His website is, his name is Larry, I don't know if I can pronounce his last name, I hope he forgives me, Larry Lovrenich. He's an Australian guy. His website is ichimokucharts.co. He also has a service where he provides videos, but he doesn't have a chat room. So he does daily videos on a variety of different products, and his service is it's like $89 a month or something like that. It's very affordable, totally worth it if you want to learn Ichimoku. But he was producing videos and posting them on StockTwits, back in the day, and that's how I initially got into Ichimoku and learned the initial stuff about it from his free videos. So I'm very grateful to him for doing that. But he doesn't have a chat room.
Melissa,
so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm grateful that you came and spoke to us today, and appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us, and wish you nothing but tips raining down on you the rest of the fall trading season. And perhaps we could do this again down the road. I want to thank you again for sharing your most precious currency, which is time. Pips come and go. Time is gone forever. Thanks for sharing your time with us today, Melissa.
Oh, you're welcome. You made it a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Good hunting. My trading warrior.
Thank you.
You're my trading warrior sister now. Like it or not, Melissa.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Back to my chat room.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale.
Good hunting.